All right, here we are. So it is a 115 hymn from the first mandala of Kotsam Girasa to Surya. Tat Suryasya devatvam tat mahitvam madhyakartoh vitatam samjabhara yad et ayukta haritach sadhasthat adratri vasach tanute simasmai. And that is indeed his divinity, and that is his greatness, Surya's greatness. The work half done, which was widely spread out, he has taken now fully. When he has yoked his horses to work from their unyoked common places, then the night spreads out her garments onto him. And this is indeed his greatness and his divinity. The work which was spread and half finished, he indeed takes it all to accomplish. So when he yokes his forces to do the work here, the movements of his supramental being in its multitude, then the night spreads her enveloping garments to clothe and or to house him, let us say, which is the vision of the manifestation of the divine here in the lower hemisphere. So when he actually yokes his forces finally, which are unyoked, which are free in their own domain, there is another hymn where it is said that when Surya or to Mitra and Varuna, that there are 10,000 horses there unyoked and free to go. Yes. So there is a plane of consciousness where these powers are not at work. They are not doing their sacrificial work. But when they are yoked, that means they are prepared to do the manifestation work here. So this, what is this half work of done? Half work, we mentioned the other day of half work. Sri Aurobindo uses this image of half work all the time in Savitri. Half work is that preparatory work or the manifestation of the divine and the beginning of the evolution. Yes, evolution, when it starts and unfolds, then that is half work. There is no, the final work will be when the manifestation takes place in fullness. Yes, and this body, this separate being, becomes immortal. That is full work. But half work is that to create multitude reality with many relations, which is still evolving in the darkness. So he takes this half work fully done, fully manifested by the night, and takes it onto himself to do it. So to say, it's a kind of reference to the supramental manifestation. This differs from the similar verse in 238 to Savitar, where the night is reweaving all that Savitar has spread. Similarly, but that is Savitar, this is Surya, the difference is quite big. Similarly, the word Vitatam is used, spread out, finished his half-done work in you. So she takes the manifestation, the first descent, let us say, the first involution of light into the darkness. She takes all this light and reweaves it in you, makes totally new manifestation. The night is in charge of making everything new here, or different, let us say. And then when Surya comes, he takes this half work done by night and fulfills it, completes it. Yeah? Here it is said that this half-finished work the sun bears fully, samjabhara. Though Griffith cannot somehow believe it, and translates he has withdrawn that spread over work unfinished, so he thinks that it is withdrawing, following the suggestions from the hymn to Savitar 238. So he kind of associates it with Savitar's hymn, that it is half work is done, and so he is by the night. Well, we have to come to this hymn term, and most probably I will quote here. It may also explain another verse from the hymn of the dawn, to the dawn, where she is asked to hurry with her evolutionary work, for when Surya comes and the work is still unfinished, he may burn all like thieves and robbers. And this is something very important for us now, especially in this time, when there is a shift of paradigms and we see that a new dharma is coming very quickly, and so the whole old way of living is demolished very quickly. So do not delay your sacrificial work, says the hymn. Machiram tanutha apach, says the Rishi to the dawn. Don't do it too long, for the sun do not burn you with his flame as he burns a thief and an enemy. Na it tva stenam yatharipun suro archisha. The sun is a symbol of supramental manifestation. If it comes before the dawn has finished her evolutionary preparatory work, bringing down the light of the sun and establishing it in the darkness, gradually transforming it into the substance of light, then the supramental light, symbolized by the sun, would simply burn it down, destroying this creation. This is unprepared, which is unprepared to receive the full force of that light. There are few footnotes here. I want to read how Sri Aurobindo translated this portion of the hymn to Usha, to the dawn. Break forth into light, O daughter of heaven, and spin not out too long the work. For thee, thy sun afflicts not with his burning ray, as he afflicts the foe and the thief. In the footnote, Sri Aurobindo says, the labor towards the being of the truth is long and tedious, because the power of darkness and division, the lower powers of our being, seize on and appropriate, keep idle and misuse the gains of the knowledge. So though the knowledge comes, these powers of darkness appropriate it and makes it own, aggrandize themselves by this power of knowledge, of light of the divine. They are not bearers of the sacrifice, but the spoilers. They do not use this light and knowledge and power for the sake of the manifestation of the divine, but they are spoiling it, appropriating it. They are hurt by the full ray of the sun. But this dawn of knowledge can bear the full illumination and bring to a rapid conclusion the great work. This is interesting that just I had one thought which escaped my mind. Of the dawn. Dawn has a very special character. The dawn comes and she is not forcing anything. She is gradually manifesting the divine. She, the Dawn, the Divine Mother, knows how to do it in time. She's like the mother, nurturing, slowly, perfectly manifesting all the details of the divine. If she is given space as grace to work upon the creation. But these spoilers, traders, they appropriate the light and aggrandize themselves, make themselves stronger by it. They start trading it, selling it as panis. We will come to panis in a minute. It is interesting to know that the word thief, stena, is used in this context. Stena is one who lives for himself. Having come into this creation to do the sacrificial work for the divine growth in the manifestation, he changed and started to live for himself alone and his own enjoyment, his own knowledge, and his own power. And there is a footnote, I put Sri Aurobindo here. There is no greater sin, or he says, than selfishness. Actually, he says there is only one sin, and that is selfishness. There is no other sin, only one. Selfishness, to live for oneself and use others for oneself, to aggrandize oneself. This is misuse of the power. Stena, according to the Vedic psychology, is one who does not sacrifice, who takes the divine light and support for granted, with no guidance, no gratitude, and no giving back. The panis, the traffickers and traders, are also called thieves and robbers. The panis are our karmendriyas, or the senses of action, like hands, feet, procreatory and excretory organs, and also speech, 5 of them. They are corresponding to 5 Panchamahabhutani. They are actions which connect us to the outer world. And these, in their consciousness, they are thieves. They do not know how to give themselves. They know only how to take. The panis, the traffickers and the traders, they're called panis, from root pan, to trade. They steal the divine light and treasures, which is constantly coming to us. Even now it is showering to us with light of knowledge and power. Only we can't see it because we are too engaged in our own panis, catching whatever possible for ourselves. Store them in the cave of subconscious, but do not use them for the divine purpose, which is the welfare of all. So when the time of the sun, the supramental manifestation, comes, and the sun, the divine eye, sees that the bearers of light are not ready to receive and use the immortal power, it will treat them as thieves and robbers. So it will treat them as the substance which is to be discarded or reused for better forms. And by the way, this is the biggest concern for the future of our world, because Sri Aurobindo and the Mother came and brought this supramental touch upon earth. And all the havocs started with this. Second World War was the result of this resistance to this change. Now we have another resistance that Sauron endured, did not die, the asura of falsehood, and continues. You can see how the world is totally in the falsehood. There is no discernment, discrimination between truth and falsehood anymore. It's one big mess, yeah. And this is his doings, yeah. But it is a resistance to this light. So Mother speaks about this, that she's concerned with many places on earth which are not preparing to receive this light, to receive the new stage in manifestation. Yeah? And they will be treated they will be discarded by this force. they will be thrown backward and they will move towards their own nature. If that is what they promote, if human beings promote animal nature and animal relations, animal pleasures, selfishness, they will be thrown into it. So there will be a degradation of the race of some kind, which is very dangerous even to think of. She was very concerned, and about Europe also. If you read her comments, Sri Aurobindo gave an aphorism where he says that Europe comes to the top of its development, and the whole kind of resources of spiritual energies are already exhausted. They came to the utmost selfish development which is possible. There is no more to develop, and then the whole energy falls down, and one push of the child and the whole system will collapse, of the child, the inner child. So if the inner being comes in, that system which is so kind of loved by us as security and pleasure and everything is well organized, democracy, all that is a selfish way of existence. And if we do not change, if we will not take that evolutionary movement forward seriously and see that we are meant for something higher than just being, human animal, satisfying senses, only for that we live, then there will be a big havoc and degradation. And Sri Aurobindo speaks about this in many places, saying that barbarism, the Western barbarism in the West, and though they think they are civilized, but they are actually a barbaric culture, because they do not acknowledge the spiritual value of life. And we see this today rising very strongly. Money is the reason to live. And money gives you, satisfaction of senses to utmost. And that is it. This is the end of the story. And if it is, then it is the end. The sun will come and look at everyone and see, oh, these are not luminous beings. These are to be discarded. And they will be discarded. There will be all kind of turmoils. Nature will start sending hurricanes and some freezing and, climate, you name it, wars. There will be all kind of means to erase this formation. So here I'm kind of quoting from few more. Vyuchaduhitar divo macharam, and this is the same passage. I'm just repeating for you to see it in full. And then in the same hymn, it is said, Etavat ved ushach tuvam bhuyovadatom arhasi, yastotrebhyo vibhavari, uchanti ma na pramiyase sujate ashva sundrite. These are Sujata and Ashva Sundrita, her constant epithets of the dawn. And the dawn is the action of the Divine Mother in this manifestation. So it is very appropriate for us to speak on this day. This much and more you should give, O dawn, to those who affirm you in their prayers. O luminous lady shining wide, you are not diminished, O maiden of the perfect birth, O mistress of power of happy truth. The happy truth I'm taking from Sri Aurobindo. Sundrita means perfect truth, but he wants it to be happy truth for some reason. Blissful truth. Similarly to this passage in Savitri, the voice of the Supreme warns Ashvapati. not to invoke the immeasurable descent of the Supreme into the earthly frame of man, who is too weak to receive it, because it will demolish them. Therefore, he has to be patient and entrust all work to the Divine Mother, to the Dawn, for she is the all-seeing power and knows how to slowly hew her way through this resistance of darkness. So this is the passage from Savitri. I am the mystery beyond reach of mind. I am the goal of the travail of the suns. My fire and sweetness are the cause of life. But too immense my danger and my joy. Awake not the immeasurable descent. Speak not my secret name to hostile time, the Divine Mother's name. Man is too weak to bear the infinite's weight. Truth born too soon might break the imperfect earth. Leave the all-seeing power to hew its way. In the single vast achievement, reign apart. Don't rush into changing of the world. Stay apart. Slowly trust the work of the Mother, helping the world with thy great lonely days. So you are too early for this world with all this knowledge. Stay away. Interestingly, the similar passage on Stena in the Essays on the Gita, Sri Aurobindo gives this explanation which will kind of sum up the whole vision of what is meant by this half work, half done. But the individual being begins with ignorance and persists long in ignorance. Acutely conscious of himself, he sees the ego as the cause and the whole meaning of life, and not the divine. He sees himself as the doer of works, and does not see that all the workings of existence, including his own internal and external activities, are the workings of one universal nature and nothing else. He sees himself as the enjoyer of works and imagines that for him all exists, and him nature ought to satisfy and obey his personal will. He does not see that she is not at all concerned with satisfying him or at all careful of his will, but obeys a higher universal will and seeks to satisfy a Godhead who transcends her and her works and creations. His finite being, his will, and his satisfactions are hers and not his. And she offers them at every moment as sacrifice to the divine, of whose purpose in her she makes all this the covered instrumentation. Because of this ignorance, whose seal is egoism, the creature ignores the law of sacrifice and seeks to take all he can for himself, and gives only what nature by her internal and external compulsion forces him to give. He can really take nothing except what she allows him to receive, and his portion as his portion. What the divine powers within her yield to his desire. The egoistic soul in a world of sacrifice is as if a thief or robber who takes what these powers bring to him and has no mind to give in return. He misses the true meaning of life, and since he does not use life and works for the enlargement and elevation of his being through sacrifice, he lives in vain. In the Gita, Shri Krishna says there, Indriya Ramo Mogham Parthasa Jivati. Yes? So the one who lives for the satisfaction of his desires lives in vain, for no reason. There is no trace of him being here. So it just satisfies his senses and goes. So this is about the work half done. I was quoting the other day from Savitri also of half done work, yes, from the adoration of the Divine Mother, where he says, only know his need and stared into thy eyes and killed thy heart. But where is the lover's everlasting yes? This lover's everlasting yes is exactly that power which he, Surya, completes with his supramental manifestation. We did only half work. Half work is done for us. Only know his need and stared into our eyes and killed our hearts. Only this negation of the being, death, is working here. But where is that immortality in manifestation? That work is still to be done. All right, so much for one verse, sorry. You see 3 pages of quotations. And then, very interesting verse. Tan mitrasya varunasya bhichakshe suryo rupam kranute diyo rupaste anantamanya drushadasya pajah krishnamanyat haritach sambharanti. To see that of Mitra and Varuna, of the divine consciousness and being, the sun makes out of himself a form in the lap of heaven. Infinite is his shining power on the one hand and dark on the other. Infinite on the one side and dark on the other, which his power horses bear fully. Again, the word sambharanti, as was before samjabhara, the same root, is used bearing absolutely, totally. But now it is his horses, powers, that bear fully his infinite force, anantamasya pajah, which is shining and dark, anyadrushat krishnam anyat. Adyadeva udita suryasya niramhasah piprita nir avadyat tanno mitro varunomamahantam aditich sindhu prithivi utadyauch. This is signature of Kutsa, Angirasa. Today, O gods, in the time of the rising sun, save us from the narrowness of the dark abyss, and from that which should not be spoken or expressed in consciousness. May Mitra, Varuna, Aditi, ocean, earth and heaven grant us that. It is interesting that all the gods should protect and grant us that in the time of the rising sun, but not the sun itself should grant or protect us. It seems not to have such a function. Sun is not here to protect us. But all other powers which were manifested during this evolution are here to build up our relations with the Sun, with the supermind. Supermind is here to transform, to change our mortal life into the immortal. And that change can be very painful. It's not for protection that he comes, but for transformation. By the way, I mentioned before Nikolai Röhrig and his Agni Yoga. He was the author of Agni Yoga, interesting yoga. And there the major postulate is that we have to generate so much Agni in us, flaming, that when the sun comes, that it will match his burning, that we will not burn because we are already full of flame. We are flaming, so sun will not burn us. So we will become luminous before he comes. Evolutionary, we have to become as luminous as sun before his arrival. This is something amazing if you think of it. There is the secret of transformation, of evolution, which our mind cannot understand, but it is so. All right, this is the whole hymn. There is another hymn we will read next time. Abhitapa Surya, from the lineage of Surya himself. Abhitapa, the burning power of Surya, Rishi's name. He will speak to us. So if you have any questions or remarks or some ideas, please share. It's too much, most probably, this reading of the quotations.
Actually, there's so much that relates to biblical images. The crucifying of Jesus between two thieves takes on a whole new meaning. The good thief and the bad thief. Also, I've been contemplating about a passage that says, to those who have, more will be given, and to those who have not, even the little that they have will be taken away. And, it sort of sounds like the stinginess of God, but it's not. I think it has to do with being prepared and being able to receive, and that if you're not prepared, you're not going to receive anything. So those were just two areas that this enlightened for me.
And what about this statement, those who are the last will be the first in the kingdom of my Father? How would you interpret this? That's an interesting statement.
Still working on that. Do you have an idea?
I had before an idea, yes, about this statement, that the light penetrates so deep into the inconscient that seemingly lost people outside, or maybe not acknowledged or not seen as valuable, yes, actually are preparing within this kind of work in the darkness. The deeper they go into the darkness with the light, the more they do the work, the more they translate, bring light into the deepest darkness. And there, these people are the most valuable workers of the divine sacrifice. Yeah? Not those who are on the surface kind of taking cream and knowing everything and kind of seemingly looking like developed. This happened in Oroville many times. People who seem to be totally ready for this yoga are not ready at all, and they fall into just the opposite and leave Oroville and run away. And people who came and looked like totally out of the question that they are for this yoga or do something. They stayed and changed and grew. So this kind of outer look at who is who and how it works is very deceiving. One cannot see the real work within.
Vladimir, I got a sense during this verse that there are two phases. There is one phase where there is not much movement, but there's something happening uh, within. And then there is a phase of dawn which things start becoming a little clearer. And then there is a phase of the sun where everything speeds up tremendously, and those who are not prepared for it will not be able to move.
Very nice. I like it. Yes, it makes
So there
sense.
are sort of three phases.
Yeah, there is a descent, involution of the divine. It is when then the night takes all the light of Savitar and reweaves it anew. So the night has to take that light and create her forms, give them space, give them form, name, and so on. And they grow in the night as their dwelling place. And that is one kind of involutionary and formation of evolutionary process in the night. And then when evolution of this kind reaches to the top, then there is opening from the supermind. And that takes this half done work very speedily. Because once the evolution comes to that point, it's like nearly momentous work. It will be done very quickly, the shift. By the way, did you notice that shifts between species are also not traceable? Because they are done very quickly. So we don't see the intermediary form between monkey and human being, for example. It's gone. And because the shift took place very fast somewhere long ago. And also between other species. We do not see gradual kind of transforming species into other species. No, it comes to its own kind of, and we deal only with the form which is there. Because that period of transition is very brief. Once it comes to the point, nature prepares everything and then she creates another form very quickly. Here the same story. We are coming to the top of our, maybe with the help of Sri Aurobindo and the Mother, we are coming to the top of our mental possibilities. We can see that everything in the world is prepared already for this, and we spoke about this in our Sangha, about AI even taking all the labor from us, even mental labor, even creative labor, music, art, you name it, even building the buildings. Even the warfare is changing. It's mostly robots fighting robots. So everything is kind of in the manifestation is taken away from human being engagement, freeing him for something higher, for different type of activities and engagement. And if we don't see it, and we try to still drag into that, industrial age, all these forms, and try to earn money on it, and that would be a waste of resources. That means we are not changing in consciousness, we are staying the same and fall back into the more and more satisfaction of senses and animal life, which is happening. Like major part of humanity will fall back because there is no other form of existence. There is no other dharma yet formulated. Notice when the dharma is changing from one type to another, there is always a big crisis, like Kurukshetra, for example. Krishna destroyed everyone, killed everyone. Yes, but there was a huge demolition of everything. And when he was asked at the end of Mahabharata, why did he do this destruction? And his answer was very interesting. He said that the dharma, to change dharma from one form to another is very difficult. People are engraved in that dharma. They believe that this is the way to be. And without big crisis and demolition, the shift is impossible. So we have to prepare for this. We are already in this demolition crisis. Everything is already taking place. Fully fledged, more and more and more and more. It will be just going up and up and up, and nobody can stop it unless we reorient ourselves and rethink our purpose in this manifestation. And only then we have a chance, or some of us have a chance. This world is not to endure in this form what it is. It's actually going down. This formation, this particular dharma of countries, of trading, of money, of borders, of laws. Look how many laws, and all of them are cannot hold anyone. Somebody comes like Trump, and all the laws are going. No laws needed anymore. I am the law. Comes one Putin comes, and he is the law, and everybody is following his law. And all the laws are rewritten in the most stupid way. And what can you do with all this? Just look at this. There is no law. There is no security. There is no truth in that old form anymore. Nobody trusts the truth in the old form. We are looking for the truth of a new form. And this is scary, unless you see that new form coming in truth. Then it is absolutely marvelous. You are ready to give your life, because it's not your life actually. It is she who does for you. The divine nature works out here, the divine manifestation, and you are just instrumental to it. Be happy to be instrumental for this work. Jesus gave his life for humanity to change a bit, to make it more, open to the psychic being within them, to prepare another stage, to prepare humanity to move forward. Krishna did the same, brought over mental power, and came to Sri Aurobindo down into his body to hasten the supramental evolution. So these are the hymns to Surya. Though there are only few in the Rigveda, only few, 1, 2, 3, to Surya himself.
Vladimir, will you be sending us this PDF?
Oh yeah, sure. You have it actually somewhere even. I will send you because I'm correcting on the way.
Okay.
Yeah, so these hymns are profound because they are few, but they are about the future, about our divine nature, which is coming. Whether we want it or not, it will come. And those who do not want it will be demolished and used as a material. Yes.
Vladimir, can you just repeat just one, because I know you have said it so many times, but really the difference between Savitar and Surya, I'm still quite confused about that.
Savitar is the action of Surya. Yes, it is his consciousness acting in the darkness. Surya is the body of the supermind. Surya is the being, Savitara is consciousness power of the same. And dawn is actually the Divine Mother who comes down and brings the light of Surya in the measurement needed for evolution. Yeah, Chad.
It seems like a very similar story to the Christian story, right? Where the sun, S-U-N, comes back, and then the Christian story, the son, the S-O-N, comes back, and all those who don't follow, he rejects.
Huh. Well, yes, well, it's interpreted in the religious way, yes, so follow
Right.
religion and you will be saved.
Yes,
Good
exactly.
news. But yes, there is a deeper meaning in it, most probably, yes. If you
Yeah.
don't follow your inner being, inner divinity, you won't be saved, even if you want to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I remember in the Gnostic Bible, I had read a passage about three kinds of human beings. I'll kind of try to find it and send it on the WhatsApp. There is one kind who have already given themselves to the divine, and such people are instantly raised or accepted. And there's a second kind who are still doubtful in their minds about. I'm expressing it very badly, but if I can find the passage, I'll send it. And there's a third kind who simply refuse to accept, and for them there is destruction.
Yeah, actually, it's quite interesting because Isha Upanishad has three first verses. And three first verses actually defining these three types of man. Yeah? So first of it starts Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam. All this is for habitation by the Lord. Whatever exists in this universal motion, whatever moves. Yeah. So Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam Yat Kimcha, whatever. Jagatyam Jagat, in this universal motion moves. Tenat yaktena bhunjitha. Rejoice with all this, enjoy all this, being free from the object of enjoyment, as the Lord is. Yeah? Becoming free, enjoy all this manifestation. Magridhach, don't grab, don't catch and put into your pocket. Kasya svidhanam, because whose wealth is it? And so there is an interpretation of Shankara, which is interesting. Don't grab it because it's Lord's wealth. You have no right to have this. But I kind of was wondering what it has to do with the previous. Enjoy yourself with all this, and then don't grab because whose wealth is it? How can you enjoy with all this? And then it dawned on me. Because it is your wealth already. Why do you grab it? It's given. You are the spark of representative of the Lord here. And if you are free from the object of enjoyment, that means you don't have egoistic attachment to what you enjoy and possess. Yeah? As if it is separate from others. Thief. You steal it, you build it for yourself and think this is me, this is I. I'm so happy to have it. And this is an illusion because it is already yours by default. This world is not havable. You cannot have it. But you can enjoy it as the Lord. And then, this is the first type. So you can grab, but you can also, you should enjoy becoming free. And this is in between, yeah? And then there is this absolute type, which is absolutely given to the divine. Kurvan neveha karmani jijivishet shatam samaha. But doing here verily works, one should wish to stay full time of your incarnation. Evam tvainan yatchitosti na karma lipyatenare. Only thus, and not otherwise, karma does not stick to man, does not create consequences of bondage. So action becomes a creation. It's not a bondage anymore. This is this type which is totally given to the divine. And then there is the third type, Asurya namate loka andhena tamasavritaha. Tanste pretya bhigachanti ekechatma hanojana. So in the darkness enter those who killed themselves, who disregarded their own inner self. Yes. So this is three types of man. One is in between, still kind of trying to grab, but then he has to disengage from his attachment to the objects of enjoyment, become the lord of his own life. Then the man who knows what to do because he does here divine work, and all what he does is the creation of which has no bondage. And there is the man who does not believe in himself. He is just here for the superficial satisfaction of senses. And he enters into the blind darkness, dissolves into this matter, supporting, of course, the manifestation. Interestingly, the first verse is something like Jivan Koti in Ramakrishna's terminology, yes? The one who seeks mukti, who wants to become the Lord. Second verse is Ishvara Koti, who is here doing the Lord's work already, who has realized what is freedom and comes down back and stays full time. Yeah, Jiji vishet shatam samaha. One should wish to live 100 years. Interesting kind of statement. One should wish to live. One should not, because why that was used? Because once you are free as the Lord is, then you may not want to do his work. You know, why should you actually suffer here? You are already free. You have that unborn self realized in yourself. Many people seek this unrealized, unborn self to merge with the spirit and never to be born again. In India, it's very normal. Somebody was asked, some beautiful dancer was asked, what does she want actually to realize? And she says, I want to never be born again. And it is so surprising. You are such a beautiful creator, dancer, and you don't want to be born again? What is this? It is such a misleading ideal. Yeah? Of course we need freedom of the Lord, but we need it to work here out his manifestation, not to run away. So these two first verses actually define this. Why they say one should wish to live, not one should live. Because this is something interesting. Because truly speaking, there is a temptation. Once you are mukta, once you are free, you are tempted to live faster. That's what Ramakrishna told Vivekananda. Once you know who you are, you will not want to continue this struggle here. And that's what happened with him. Once he realized who he was actually an involutionary being. He is not here to evolve. Yeah? He brought some action from the divine. So once he realized that his work is done, he is mukta, what is here to stay? So he faded away.
I sometimes think that in Sri Aurobindo's integral yoga, almost the first promise is that I will return over here to do the work. Once that is firmly set in your mind, then probably the rest of it is granted. I don't know, but somehow this promise is asked from us.
Right. Well, your soul will decide. It's not the mind.
Of
Mind
course.
will not even kind of maybe disagree even. You know, mind will decide to go and soul will decide to come, or other way around. Mind will be ready to work and soul will say, "No, sorry, I'm going out. Whatever you want to do, you do without me." Right. So it is a very serious decision and nobody can object to it. But somebody asked Sri Aurobindo, is it final when soul decides to actually dissolve itself in this beyond? Like salt in the water, as Shankaracharya says, dissolving. So no more distinction of oneself. He says, I don't think so. I don't think this is the final thing because the decision was made by the Supreme to manifest. And we are here the messengers or the workers of that manifestation. So once the Supreme decided to manifest himself through us, by us, with our help, so to say, we are him in manifestation, then that soul which dissolved will be recaptured and sent back to work. So there is no way out from this thing. So better not to try. That's what I want to say. Better to work it out here in manifestation. Funny. Yeah, Sri Aurobindo with his integral yoga actually explained many corners and unexplained things in religions, in different philosophies. They became clear where they belong, what they promote, what is deeper behind them, why they are needed, what is their utility here for our evolution of consciousness. So many things become clearer, like two thieves, one is good, one is bad. Good thief is the one who is still selfish, but he's looking for becoming something more. The bad thief is selfish and is not looking for anything to become better. So these two capacities going up, evolutionary and non-evolutionary, yes? And among them there is this divine being. Right. These two choices always we have, a left and right choice. Great. Let's stop here for today and happy darshan again. And may the Divine Mother protect you and guide you on the way to the felicity. Namaste.